Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Sunday, January the 13th, and welcome to our video commentary. Well, in case you haven't heard, we have a government shutdown. It's actually a very partial shutdown, so, the basic functions of government are working, and my guess is that 99% of the country doesn't even feel the shutdown one way or the other, but it's in the news and the media is talking about it, and that's why I think most of the country is reacting to it. Now, the early indications are hard to understand. Some of the polls are saying this, some of the polls are saying that. Now, as you know, I've mentioned it many times here, I'm very skeptical about polls. I think that we've reached the point where getting good information about attitudes or public opinion is a very hard thing to do. And the biggest reason is that most Americans don't answer their phones. How can you do a poll when most of the people I know don't even have landlines? How can you do a poll when most people do not answer their polls? How many times were you contacted by a pollster over the last few years? Not many, not many. So it's very difficult to do a poll. And that's why I've always been very skeptical about polls that say this or say that. I do think, though, the Democrats are miscalculating public opinion on illegal immigration and the chaos that comes from illegal immigration. I'm not talking here about immigration. There's a difference between immigration and illegal immigration, but I do think there is an irritation in the country about illegal immigration, and that's what I think President Trump is counting on, that irritation. And that's why I think border security is eventually going to win this argument. And if President Trump sticks to it, I think he's going to win the political argument. And the first cracks, I think, are going to come from the Democrats, particularly many of these districts that they had to win in order to obtain a majority. Right now, Nancy Pelosi or the Democrats in the House have what I call an 80-20 problem. 80% of the Democrats in the House do nothing or want nothing else but destroying the Trump presidency. But then there's the 20%. Most of that 20% was actually elected in 2018. They represent very competitive districts where they have very competitive elections waiting for them in 2020. A lot of those Democrats were not elected on liberal agendas, or for that matter, most of them didn't even invite Nancy Pelosi to campaign for them. In fact, most of them did not invite Nancy Pelosi or President Obama to campaign for them, because they ran sort of centrist campaigns, not campaigns in touch with the National Democrat Party. And I think that's the key for President Trump to get this border wall. He's got to focus on those candidates and those representatives who represent those centrist districts, who I think will eventually start turning because public opinion will get to them in many of these more competitive conservative districts between San Francisco and New York. So I think President Trump's going to win this one in the long run, but he has to stick to the plan, and Republicans have to stay with him. Don't run, just stay with President Trump, because I think he's going to win this debate. I think there is an irritation in the country about illegal immigration, and I think eventually this is what will force many Democrats to at least sit down and negotiate some kind of a solution to this issue. Well, thank you for watching. We have all of these on Twitter, on YouTube, on my blog, and if January the 13th is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.